Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Agent's Edge. My name is Ryan Polimeni, and I have two incredibly special guest speakers on today, which I'm really excited about. These two gentlemen have made such an impact in my life and in my career, and I've had the opportunity to meet them about 7 years ago. I honestly cannot believe how fast that went by. Feels like just yesterday, right? I was having a little corner office in your office in Tarpon Towers over in the Tampa area, and it's been an exciting last few years, and to watch the evolution of your firm, Megastar Advisors, kind of grow to what it has become. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to be working with you guys and partner with you guys and to have you on the show. So I've got Ryan McCarty, and I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves because I know their titles change and they got high, big, fancy titles, so I want them to introduce themselves a little bit. And Alex Welling. So these two gentlemen, like I said, have made a really big impact in my life. But if you guys wouldn't mind, Ryan, can you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you? And then Alex, I'll jump over to you. Then I got a lot of questions I want to ask you guys because a lot of our viewers are going to really be able to take us some incredible content away from how you guys have been able to build an absolute empire. I mean, I'm talking about, like, for those of you that don't know Megastar, these guys are a $300 million organization. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. $300 million. And so they have an incredible amount of information to share. We're going to pull a lot out of them today. But Ryan, I'm going to let you just do a quick introduction, then pass it over to Alex, and we're going to dive right in.
Perfect, buddy. So, yeah, 300 million was last year. We're on pace right now for 450 million, if you can believe that. Right?
Wow.
So exponential growth. A lot of it's just set up because of COVID really helped set us where we're at today.
No doubt.
And Alex, I'm sure you'll jump onto that a little bit about some of the programs and things that we're doing, Ryan, that got us to that level. But just a little background on me. I've been in the insurance business since I was 15 years old. Right. My grandfather started one of the largest FMOs in the country, and that's where I got really my roots from, called Brokers International. And then there was a time when I got done with college that, I moved to Florida, worked for a firm called USA Tax and Insurance Services. That's where I really cut my teeth, got to be mentored by some of the top producing advisors across the country. And we specialized at that time with tax practices and things like that to generate leads and just, try to change the mentality of advisors from, generating leads just based off of, being hunters, just doing workshops and trying to add in some other mechanism, right, to generate appointments. And that's being a business owner, right, getting through the tax practice. And from that relationship, right, I met one of my business partners, Lee Barless, who's one of the top producers with us still to this day. And from that, we ended up purchasing USA Tax, and in over a 7-year period, I mean, we grew it from 60 million up to now, Al, 450? That's where we're tracking that right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, it's just about the relationships, right? I mean, more than anything else. I mean, we've known each other now 7 years, right?
Yeah.
We've been on a 2 million a week. And didn't you do that last
month? 2 million. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm working on getting the 2 million a week. That'd be nice, but
but insane, it's insane what you've been able to accomplish with your firm. So just, we're happy to be a part of the journey, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure. So, and Alex, getting to know you, I remember that almost the day you started, and to watching you grow to your position. So, tell us about your position. Tell us where you started when I first met you, because I think it's really important for not only people to see a producer like myself, right, that's been able to accomplish, good things, but internally inside an organization. I think what makes Megastar so special is you guys have grown internally as well, and you've climbed through the rankings. And I think that's really important for a lot of people to understand too. You're not just hiring CFOs and all this other stuff. You're growing them internally, which allows you to be able to help a lot of other people grow their business internally. So tell us a little about that, Alex. Tell us about your journey a little bit and your title now and where you started.
Yeah, I started as a recruiter. Oddly enough, as a recruiter, I was a golf professional. I had a background in economics, or whatever, but I was a golf professional. I was teaching golf at a local golf club here in Tampa, and I had an opportunity to just put the old economics degree to work, and came and interviewed for a position here as a recruiter, sales. I mean, because that's what I was doing at the golf course, was essentially selling memberships and lessons and stuff like that. But I learned to have an affinity for the sales side of that business and came and tried to put that to work, tried to get a foot in the financial world, and found this Megastar Advisors and the opportunity to mentor under Ryan and Lee. And I say that always because it was the first interview that I had as a young man who had held a bunch of jobs in college and outside after post-college careers.
Right.
And it was the first interview that I had where I had sat down in front of two folks that I was like, oh my gosh, these two people I could legitimately learn something from. I didn't feel that way in any other interview I'd ever been in. And so with these two folks, they've groomed what was moldable clay at that time to be as best a recruiter as I possibly could. And I was just hungry. And you know what? I was a sponge, and I learned, I had the opportunity because I was a recruiter to recruit guys like yourself, and get to know what you guys were doing. And you guys always had tidbits about sales and how to approach sales processes. And I think it's a really incredible place to learn at the wholesale level for a youngster in the business, because you're going to get exposure to hundreds and hundreds of successful advisors out there, or people paving their path towards success. And so anyway, over the years, I had my hands in a different number of roles. I was blessed with a growing organization, and I've moved my way up to being the chief sales officer here at Megastar. So now I run basically the day-to-day of our sales and service and marketing or maybe less marketing, but more sales and service operations.
Yeah. And if I could jump in there, Ryan, too, literally, that growth from 300 to 450 would not happen unless it's all, Alex and his team. I mean, they literally put the pieces together, and Alex ran with that whole department to really change the whole culture of Megastar. So all that credit would go right to Alex and his team.
Yeah, he's modest. Anyway, honestly, it's a huge team effort, and that because you were in our office for a while. You witnessed the culture that's here. We're very, very much, and this is Lee's approach to business for sure: hire slow, fire fast.
Right.
And we take a very slow approach to hiring folks. Everybody has to meet the cultural ambiance of Megastar, and that's been the key to our growth. I mean, everybody sees it as their own company. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I got to tell you, one of the questions that I wanted to dive in with you guys today is, what does it take? Because let's be real, like a lot of people, they want to build these big organizations. I mean, Ryan, you've been around it since you were birthed, right? So you know that these people want to come in. A lot of advisors love the idea of wanting to build this massive organization. I'm going to be the next $1 billion company, right? We all have those visions of grandeur, but the reality is, it is insanely complicated to get to that type of production, that kind of level as an organization, right? So we're kind of taking the personal producer out of the equation. So for all of our viewers watching this that are recruiting and actively building an organization, tell us a little bit about that journey, because I think it's so important, because I think a lot of people miss the fact that they're going to come in, they think they're going to come in, recruit this big organization, be multimillionaires, be able to step out of the field and just live the fast life outside of it, never to worry about it. But that's not true, right? So tell us a little bit about what it is like and what it actually takes to run a $450 million organization. Tell us about the day-to-day, but tell us a little more about that culture and maybe some of the things that you've seen that work and that do not work. Because I want to take the approach of the recruiter for today.
You want to take that?
I'll gloss it up. You go ahead. I'll gloss it up. You give us the foundations of it, and I will go and give you what I experienced in my coming up.
So when it comes down to it, right, I think there was an article that I saw, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. It talked about how 60% of advisors just want more leads and appointments, right? That's the main focus that they're looking at. And, if anybody's starting an agency now, a lot of them come in with processes and procedures, which I still think is great, right? A sales technique, sales process. I see a lot of that. But what I see a lot happening with some of these agencies is that you teach sales processes, techniques. What happens when an advisor learns them, right? Some of them learn them, and then some of them move on to the next thing, right? That's where some of that, I've been in this organization happens. That happens quite a bit. And I still strongly believe that, sales process and techniques is something that needs to be within any organization. But at the same time, you have to have something that gives more value to the advisor, right? In regards to leads, appointments, that really separates those firms from other organizations. Because back in the day, when a lot of FMOs started, or any agency started, it's set up with servicing, right? That service the agents, do products, you do illustrations, you literally help them with the day-to-day of their business, maybe run some reports. And then, things started to evolve a little bit more, especially with USA Tax. They're the ones that helped really gravitate the industry into having the advisors be in front of the room. Like if you see some of these carrier events or some of these other FMOs out there, some of the bigger ones, a lot of it came from USA because they were the ones up there saying, let's get Ryan Polimeni's of the world, get them in front of the room and train and teach them how they got from where they're at to where they're at today.
Sure.
Right. And that is something that's extremely valuable. Right. It still is extremely valuable. And then the industry changed again. Right. And that industry said, that became one of the standards that some of these agencies need to put in place. Right. So again, it's harder than ever for, advisors that, want to build an agency and just say, especially with the stacking that's happening in the industry too. You see a lot of stacking with FMOs, like, one buying another or one on top of another. It's getting harder and harder to compete. So in our eyes, Alex and I's eyes, it's always, what can you bring value-wise to the advisor? And the two things that automatically populate in our minds, and I'm sure Alex, you can jump on this too. It's technology, and it's also the leads and appointments that you can help advisors with.
Sure.
That's what really helps separate some of these agencies. And, again, sales process and techniques, there has to be a way for some of these places to start with that, but they need to evolve. And what happened with USA Tax, for example, is it did not evolve. It had the tax business model at that time. And it was great. It was one of the greatest models out there. But then what's next?
Right. There was no next level to it.
There was no next level, right? So what is the next thing? So you always have to keep evolving and moving forward, because independent advisors, that we're working with all the time, right? They can go anywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to bring that value and find that value that helps them get to that next level too.
Yeah.
Right. You want to gloss over on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's still right. I mean, if you want me to touch on the day-to-day of running a $450 million shop, you're talking about constant communication with the $400 million that are being written, right? So constant communication with the advisors out in the field, getting their feedback back. That's a lot of my position, right? Getting feedback back from those out in the field, relaying that to the marketing team and the creative team over here at Megastar, to make sure that they understand what the people in the field are saying. These appointments are garbage. These appointments are fantastic. We want more of those, less of these. We want, whatever, right? So it's constantly getting those feedbacks and leads and appointments. And that is definitely the common sentiment about, the industry today. I want more and more and more of that. Right. But if you're going to be a recruiter and you're going to be successful in this business, you're going to have to realize that it's an incredibly nuanced, I guess, what do I want to say? I guess it's an incredibly nuanced approach to come to somebody and say, hey, you are an entrepreneur starting a business, and I've got something of value for you. So you have to be not just bringing value just on the leads in front, but you also should be able to bring value on the service front and the back office support, because that's what IMOs used to do. IMOs used to be just a back office support mechanism for advisors. I wasn't supposed to put people in front of you. You were supposed to be responsible for the customer acquisition, right? But then that's not very high barriers to entry for somebody to start an IMO, because I can just have really good customer service too. So what happens? Well, that stuff starts to get easier and easier as technology gets to being more and more advanced, and people start to realize that, hey, look, this override dollar hasn't changed, but it's gotten really easy for my upline to do what they were supposed to be doing for me. So what happens? The new guy on the table, i.e. Megastar or Megastar firms like Megastar, come in with with marketing solutions, customer acquisition solutions for advisors out there. And so, we have to constantly pay attention to the I guess the juju that brought us here, right? We have to constantly maintain that this program is constantly putting people in front of our advisors and the good quality, because, obviously we only get paid if the advisor writes the business. So if we turn a blind eye to that and let those things fall apart, well, then we have lost the one thing that brought our advisors to us. Yes, we're great at service. We are fantastic at customer service. If you ask myself, I'm completely biased, right? We are fantastic at back office support. We are fantastic at making sure your cases get pushed through, and our carrier reps love us. And right, those are all fantastic things. But so are all of our competitors, the big guys out there. They are too.
Yeah, they're good.
I can't ever fool myself into forgetting what the value is I bring to this advisor, which is helping them with their customer acquisition needs, along with all the other things.
Yeah.
And so for us, for a recruiter, it's like, okay, I got to be mindful that I've got to, one, sell the person on myself, to why they want to join me. Two, I got to sell the potential agent on our company and the culture here, which, usually it's done through like an office visit or an event of some sort. And then three, I got to sell them on my product. The 310s, Jordan Belfort talks about it all the time, but the 310s is nothing more true than that, really. It's myself. They got to buy me. They got to buy my company, and they got to buy my product. My product is customer acquisition solutions.
Right. So essentially what you guys have perfected, and I got to be honest with you, being a part of it is getting the advisors and helping the advisors get in front of qualified prospects. If you've ever wanted to learn how to write over $5 million a year in annuity volume, Level Up Advisors Academy was built for you. In this academy, we talk about things like how to do massive annuity production, assets under management, big whole life and IUL cases. Look, 5 years ago, before I built this product, I didn't even know how to spell the word annuity, but a simple system that I learned allowed me to write over $5 million a year in annuity production, and now over $10 million a year. I took what I know, the system that I've built, and I put it into Level Up Advisors Academy for you to be able to have access to it 24/7 on demand. If you've ever want to take your business to the next level, this academy was built for you. Click the link below to get access today. Look forward to working with you in the future.